Hey guys, it's Smashley. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time. And if it's your first time, why don't you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. For today's video, actually, rewind. So we're in September at this point. So I've decided that I want to take the month of September to do mostly DIY home decor. I feel like you guys have really been enjoying that from me, and I have a ton of ideas and I've just been super excited to get going with them. So I'm going to take September to do that. To kick things off, we're going to be making a double hoop wall hanging today. I'm going to go ahead and insert some pictures here just so you guys get an idea of what we're going for. But I'm going to be using a mix of yarn and also some macrame cord. So let's fully get into materials, right? I've already kind of teased it. So here are some of the yarns I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be going for more of neutral tones. I have this like ombre look idea in my mind. So I have some taupes, some whites, I have some creams. And then like I mentioned, I'm also going to be mixing in some macrame cord. So I got this big boy off of Amazon. We're using that today. Aside from the yarn and the macrame cord, of course, you're going to need your hoops. And this is not the first time that you guys have actually seen me do hoop work on this video. On this channel. So here are the hoops that we're going to be using today. If you guys have already watched my DIY floral hoop video, you know that this actually came as part of a 3-pack. I got this literally for $3 at Walmart. And so we used the biggest hoop for that video. Today we're going to be using the medium size and the smallest size hoop. And then the very last thing, actually 2 last things that you'll need is, I have this piece of cardboard, and what we're going to be doing is using this to actually measure out the strings of yarn and macrame that we're going to be cutting. And then of course to cut it, you do need a pair of scissors. All right, so since we're going to be layering the hoops, I'm going to start with the bigger bottom hoop first. And I already know that for the design, I want mostly white yarn at the bottom. So I'm going to start with cutting loops of the white yarn. Now, this is where the cardboard is going to come into play. This cardboard measures about 20 inches, which is just about the length that I'm looking to get out of this thing. So that happened to work out perfectly. So all you want to do is take the end of your yarn, and I'm actually going to tape it to the top. So just want to grab a piece of tape. We're going to tape this to the top of the board. And we're just going to keep wrapping the yarn around. The goal for me is going to be to get 20 loops out of this to start. And then as we need more, we'll go back and measure and cut more. Once you've measured out as many as you want to start with, you can go ahead and cut that last string. Where you want to cut the rest of the loops is going to be right where we taped it. So I'll show you guys, that's where we taped it right there. So we're going to be cutting a line straight across here. And here they are. So super easy. I wish I would have found this trick. I've done macrame projects before in the past, specifically for the wedding. And I don't even want to share the process that I took because it was way too time consuming. So let's just say I should have done my research, but this is exactly what you want to get. This is what we'll call our loop that we're putting on our hoop. I'll be writing a Dr. Seuss book in my next video. So we're gonna keep doing that. All right, I'll set these aside and I'm gonna get my macrame cord set up and we're gonna cut that one next. Okay, next up is gonna be our macrame cord. I think I'm gonna measure out probably 10 of these. This thing is super heavy to kind of be wrapping around, so a way different story than yarn. So I'm gonna have my lovely husband hold this for me while we wrap it around. But again, to kind of just keep it consistent and to make sure the string or the cord doesn't slip, we're gonna tape this to the bottom of the cardboard. Okay, we'll cut this guy. Thank you. And here we go. All right, third one to cut. I just have some leftover macrame from the piece that I made for the wedding. So I'm just gonna measure this one out. We'll throw a couple of these in there too. Okay, so I just went ahead and put our hoop up on this, what do you call this? Okay, I have a hanging rack on my door. So this is where we put them. It just makes things a lot easier so I can be quick as I'm moving. I also took my chair and I put our pre-cut pieces on here. So all we're gonna do is pull from one, and you just wanna make sure the ends are even on the loop. And what you're gonna do is take the top piece, so this piece right here, and we're gonna put that under the hoop. Now you're gonna take the top and kind of bend it over, and then you're gonna take the ends of the loop and put it through that little piece we just made at the top. And that's it. Really, this entire project is gonna be repeating that process many, many times. So like I mentioned, I know for this hoop, I want it to be mostly the white, so that's gonna be the majority of what we're putting on. I would recommend, if you're gonna be doing a design, the easiest way is to count how many you're putting on each side so you can get an even design. So I think I'm gonna start with 10 white on each side and see how much of the hoop that takes up, and then we'll start to add our other colors. We're gonna start on the other side. All right, so we have all of our white pieces of yarn already mounted on the hoop. I'm liking where this is going. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and add our macrame cord as we're getting towards the center. Like I mentioned, I kind of want a little bit of an ombre effect. Not so much on this hoop, but you guys will see once I do the smaller one. So we'll go ahead and add this. It's gonna be the same exact process of looping it through. So again, you kind of just go from underneath, pull the top of the loop over, and then pull the ends of the loop through the top. I'm just realizing this looks like my shirt. All right, I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna set up so we can do the second hoop. That'll go on top. But here's how she's looking. I brought you guys a little closer. It's time for the little guy. I mentioned this in my floral hoop video, but I'll mention it here again. Okay, so when you get these hoops, where they fuse it right here, that's the part that you want to cover. So I'm just gonna tilt the hoop upside down. All right, and then same process. So we're gonna be starting with the white, and this time I've already pre-cut my pieces. I know you guys can't see it, but I have my white yarn, I have the cream macrame cord, 2 more kind of creamish leftover macrame cord, and then the center of this one is actually going to be this pretty taupe color. All right, so we'll start with the white on the outside, and again, you just want to put the top of the loop over the hoop and then pull your ends through. White all finished, we're going to move on to our macrame cord. And I have 6 pieces of these, so I'm going to be doing 3 on each side. Next, we'll add the last 2 pieces of like the random macrame cord I had left. So right now this is looking super similar to the first hoop that we did, but now is when we're going to add in that taupe color for the darkest piece of our ombre in the center. And for this one, I have 1, 2, 3, 6 pieces. We'll see if that's enough. See if we like it. I'm loving this so much already. Okay, so this is pretty much our top hoop all completed. To give you guys an idea, I'll layer them for you right here. This is essentially what we're going to be looking for. So it just looks a little bit more full. So I think before we do so, I'm going to cut these on an angle. So I'm going to get set up to do that in a second and go grab my scissors. All right, put our small one to the side, and I just grabbed our big one. And again with our scissors. Now I have this idea to kind of cut on a V angle. So in order to do so, I want to make sure I'm cutting this correctly. So I'm going to grab the shortest piece from our middle section, which is about right here, and I'm kind of just going to eyeball it and measure it up. So I think I'm going to cut from about there. And I'll probably cut upwards on the other side. All right, so we kind of have it kind of going down in an angle. I'm not too worried about it being super duper perfect because we're gonna layer the other one on top, but I'll go ahead and set this one aside, bring that one back, and we'll cut her too. So I went ahead and I just layered the smaller one on top. I think instead of following the same angle, I think I wanna actually make this one straight. So I'm gonna try my best to do a cut straight across, a little bit shorter than the one behind it, so you can kind of see the V coming out from under it, just to give it some different levels. All right, I'm gonna start longer than I think I need to, so I have some space. Okay, at this point, I think I've gotten this edge as clean as I can possibly get it. To give you guys another visual, we'll go ahead and add our bigger hoop back over. And here is kind of how she's looking. I know it's a little difficult to see against the white background, but I'll show you guys a better visual at the end. Now all that's left is going to be to kind of fuse or tie the two of them together so that they stay as one piece. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up so we can do that. To mend these together, all we're going to need is some more yarn and a pair of scissors so we can cut this. And we're just going to wrap around the top piece that we were trying to hide. So to give you guys better visual, this is exactly where we're going to be wrapping around. And the smaller hoop is almost going to sit underneath the bigger one, so just make sure when you're wrapping that these two lay flat. Okay, I'm actually going to flip this on its back because I want the knot to be behind. I'm just going to double knot one end and then we'll start wrapping. And then while you wrap, you want to just take this little tail and hide it underneath. And you want to hold or pull your yarn pretty tightly just to make sure that the hoops are secured together. They stay in place. And then I think what I want to do is maybe put this one through here. So I just took the tail end and I wrapped it in between the two hoops. I'm going to make a little bit of a loop. And since this is the back of the piece, I'm gonna make the knot back here. Okay, and we'll just cut off that little tail end piece so you don't see that hanging from the front. Here is how we're looking. All right, you guys, here she is. You might need to comb through it just a little bit to kind of, you know, make the two pieces kind of blend. But we did the top up here. So now literally all that you have to do to hang this is just put a nail or something in the wall and it'll sit on there. It'll be perfect. But I so much love how this came out. I didn't intend for it to look exactly like my top, but stuff happens, right? So I think I already have a spot for this in the house, but we'll see. I'll show you guys kind of how I style it at the end of the video. But I thank you guys so much for watching and for all the love, the support. We really, really appreciate it. Put in the comment section, how did you guys like this video? If there are other kind of wall tapestries or hanging macrame that you would like to see me do, I'm interested to see what you guys have for feedback. And as always, if you haven't already, like this video and make sure you're subscribed. And I will catch you guys in the next one.